Hey, what's up, everybody? BDF44 coming into another video. All right, so I'm sitting here chilling, thinking about how the Nets are gone. The first team eliminated from the playoffs. The very first team, they got 0 wins. The only team in the playoffs this season that didn't get a single win. I, I I think people were expecting the Lakers to blow the team up. I think people were expecting the Jazz to blow their team up. Obviously, you were expecting to see big changes around the league. I'm wondering, depending on how this season goes with the Philadelphia 76ers this here series, I'm wondering what they may look like next year as well, to be honest. I think the Nets should probably consider making some major changes. Um, I don't look at them as in a much different situation than the Lakers. I think they're built their foundation on players that they cannot necessarily rely upon, as we've discussed many times. And the way of the future is to have as much youth as possible. Now, unlike the Lakers, the Nets still have a few of their picks, so they have that on us. But at the end of the day, they're strapped for assets. They have cap issues. They have talent issues, and unlike the Lakers, I would argue they've had some drafting issues. I think the Lakers have done a very good job picking up young players over the last several years. We have excellent scouts that we trust, and I'm not aware of what the Nets got going on. But looking at how they're doing, they could be doing a little better in that area. I don't know if that any of that gives them excuses for the results that they received. I don't even think the injury issues are a great excuse for the results that these teams uh, gave their respective cities. And I know for a fact when you have an opportunity to put together a basketball team, it takes certain choices to end up as inept as the Lakers were this year, particularly. But for things to go as bad as the Nets did, I think a lot of things had to go on outside of the choices made by their management, more or less. And we know what those are. At the end of the day, Kyrie Irving, KD, obviously for the Lakers, it's AD and Bron, are still players that this league covets a great deal. Now, is their value still what it once was? No. The price went down on just about everybody from that generation. I really believe that too. I just think that these playoffs in this season has taught everybody that if you don't have youth, you're in the past, and if you're in the past, you're gonna get ran past. And I think that that's what we are learning right here and now. Teams like the Pelicans and the Timberwolves, Memphis, and Celtics, and all these teams that have young players with key roles, Toronto, they're having success. While a lot of these legends that we're used to being in the finals and every year and being on all-star teams for the last 12 years, they're getting ousted fast, like right away. And it's just the changing of the guard. It is what it is. You know, these are the times we're in. At some point in time, you just gotta go say out with the old and in with the new, and that time is now. So take that information and do with it what you will as it pertains to how you view um, our current superstars. Because I'm telling you, one by one, they're gonna find out that they're probably gonna end up running into some young kid that's just gonna D them up and knock them off. And we're seeing it. We're seeing it right now. I don't know that the Suns are gonna make it out of their series as of right now. I think not. I think the Philadelphia 76ers are on the verge of giving up the first 0-3 comeback deficit, however you word that. They're about to blow a 0-3 deficit or 3-0 lead. Yeah. Yeah, they're going to give up 4 games straight to the Toronto Raptors, led by Rookie of the Year and a couple guys who've only been in the league but for so long. You traded everything to get James Harden. James Harden gets you, what, 4 field goals in a game like tonight? I mean, we're seeing it. It's about done. It's about over for the dudes. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people are. And look, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to say it. But a lot of people are talking about, oh, Lakers need to trade for this player. Like, oh, get us to get Dame. Dame's in that category, man. Nope. Nope. I don't doubt his talent. I don't doubt what he's done. But I have to look at where the league is right now. And if you are considered a defensive liability, you've got to be able to bring people together on the offensive end. You've got to be someone who's not going to mess up the flow of other people around you. And you got to be somebody who's going to contribute in multiple areas. I like Dame, but I watch him on the defensive end. Nope. If he's not giving me all of that clutch ability and that speed that he's had for all these years, and we got these injuries growing and all kinds of stuff. No. If I'm to bring in Dame, I'm bringing him in with the intention of expecting him not to give me any of those things that I got from him in the past. You know, you got to be absolutely and utterly, cautious. Basically, you got to bring in insurance for anybody who's older at this point. It's not about whether or not they can play. It's about the youth around the league that's going to be coming at them repeatedly, night in and night out. You just can't trust these guys to stay healthy. They've had too many miles on their legs, and as I've pointed out many times today in this camera, the whistle is not coming the same way. The game has shifted basically over the last 3 weeks, as far as I can tell, to physicality. They're not blowing the whistle. They're letting people push people around. They're letting people slap people around. And, you'll see occasional games where there's big lopsided whistle calls. There was a game a couple days ago, I think it was yesterday, where one team shot 40 free throws and another team shot like 12. You're seeing strange stuff like that, but for the majority of these games, it's been physical. And I'm expecting that to continue. I'm expecting the unapologetic nature of these kids who don't want to be your friend and all that other stuff. That mentality of teaming up, buddy, all that's gone. It's been now a return of competitive fire. These kids want to beat one another. It's a new era, and I think the stars of yesterday dominated yesterday's era because they didn't have these kids to deal with. To be completely honest with you, I guess what I'm saying to you is I expect this generation of kids to be much more dominant on the defensive end than the previous era. I really do, and it's going to make it so that these older guys, if they don't find themselves in situations where they have enough young players around them to hold them down, they're going to get just run over by complete teams with young players, young athletes specifically. And it's not going to get any easier. This next draft is going to bring in an entirely another crop of lengthy defensive guys who can shoot the ball and do all kinds of stuff, intangibles and things of that nature. More long defenders that can stretch out and block your three-point shot, stuff like that. More guys that are tall who can cover the full floor and guard guys smaller than them. That's what I was saying, like a guy like Fred VanVleet, him being removed from this Toronto series, that's like a plus, a massive plus. Because the only reason he's an effective player for this Toronto Raptors team is because he's such a lethal killing shooter. If he ain't shooting the ball, he's a small dude. That's not better for their team defensively, just off the strength of his size, especially when you consider all of the size that they have on their team. A guy like Precious Achiuwa needs probably about 40 minutes a game. He can't get that. You understand what I'm saying? He's a supreme athlete, and he can't get that because he's not in that starting lineup getting those minutes. You move a guy like Fred VanVleet completely, and you insert a guy like him into the lineup. Now suddenly, you're massive. This is where the NBA is going, y'all. Even the teams that you don't think are any good, they're building with the intent of having that dynamic of being massive, tall, having 6'10" point guards and stuff like that. Look at Detroit. Look what they're building. Look at Cleveland. Look at how they're building. And it's only going to get more so. So, as far as I can tell, you old guys better hug up with one of these youngsters You better join Carl Anthony Towns, better join, you know what I'm saying, better join the Rockets or something. That's what these old guys need to be doing. Don't run from these kids no more. Don't run from these small markets no more, because they got the draft picks, and those draft picks are going to be them kids. It ain't about, oh, okay, let's go to the Lakers, or let's go to the Nets. No, it is over with. If the Lakers don't have draft picks to acquire those great players, they probably ain't getting them, because these kids are learning in real time. Don't go to them fluff markets, because they ain't going to have the depth. They ain't going to manage the books right. That's what you guys are showing these kids, whether you know it or not. All you organizations that are making all these bad decisions, they're watching. They're watching this stuff before they even get into the league. They're watching it just like I'm watching it here. This guy didn't trade that guy. They're not playing that guy. Why didn't he sit that guy? All this stuff. Kids are watching. And they're going to grow up. They're going to be on these teams, and they're going to act accordingly based on the information they're getting on how these organizations are managing the rosters and everything, the players, their mental health, all these different things. I think these athletes are of the mindset of athletes of the yesterday, like it's just about getting my check and just getting my numbers. No. These kids are much more savvy. They're smarter. They know their worth. They can cover more ground physically. They're gonna have more demand. So as far as I can tell, you better get in the mix in terms of getting as many draft picks as you can, as many young players as you can, developing the best scouting department for each and every franchise, because that's where it's headed. If you think that you're just gonna grab a guy who's been in this league for 12 years and you think he's gonna be able to dominate those youngsters, that's over with. We are learning that's over. So that's what I'm here to say. That's it. I don't know what the Nets are going to do, but if they don't start that process, they're going to find out the hard way. Period. They're going to run KD and Kyrie out there. They're going to have a nice regular season. But if you don't get them long, lengthy defenders and them Robert Williams types, you know what I'm saying, them tall players that can do things to assist them defensively and offensively, you think Ben Simmons is just going to be enough? See how many of those guys Toronto got? You're going to need about 4 or 5 Ben Simmons. That's why I look over at Philadelphia, the way their team is constructed. I mean, could they get lucky and maybe somebody gets hot and they beat Toronto? Yeah, anything can happen in the course of a basketball game. But if you just look at these teams on paper, I said it from the beginning of the series. Too many lengthy, wingy, athletic defenders going up against too many one-dimensional or old guys that really aren't moving like that on the Philadelphia 76ers. I mean, it's obvious. If you know the makeup of each and every player on each of those two teams, you can just clearly see. Joel Embiid has to be a monster, and James Harden has to return back to his old efficient ways, for which he would have to play better defense against bigger players. I mean, I've learned that you have to pay attention to what you're looking at. You can't listen to the narratives. You can't judge hit by history. You can't go by what you saw last year. No, you got to go by what you are seeing right here, right now, as it pertains to this NBA and these playoffs. The Pelicans are, in fact, a better team than the Phoenix Suns. Feast your eyes on what you are looking at. The Toronto Raptors are, in fact, a better team than the Philadelphia 76ers. This is not a fluke. Minnesota is just as good as the Memphis Grizzlies. You're seeing it. This is actually the case. I just think that a lot of fans, including myself, has been conditioned to believe certain things, or just, having a hard time catching up with the times. But believe your eyes, my friends. Jason Tatum is not going away. Scotty Barnes is not going away. And CP3 ain't getting no younger. KD ain't getting no younger. James Harden ain't getting no younger. Bron James ain't getting no younger. This is what it is, man. They had to usher out some guys. Some guys had to be done for them in order for them to come in and do their thing. It's just that time, man. It's just that time, and nobody wants to let it go. Listen, none of these guys want to let it go. No, these kids who are running around right now, coming into the league, running them out the gym, they ain't gonna want to let the next crop run them out the gym, and they coming too. Scotty Barnes gonna get old. Them dude, you know what I'm saying? They all. Jason Tatum's gonna face father time. They all gonna face it. It's just about when is now, and right now, it's their time. Simple as that. My name is BDF44. Thank you all for watching. I'm out.